Greetings, metalheads, and thank you for watching part two of the Devoid interview, which I did with Carsten Lizard Schulz, which was conducted on the 2nd of March 2021. So I much appreciate you watching this. Like I say, it's been in two parts. So enjoy, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, please share on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media account. So cheers, enjoy the second part. See you all soon. Be safe.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I remember listening to a band called Heaven's Fire.
Yeah.
You did backing vocals on one of their albums, and like the first time I heard that album, I was like, I'm sure Kirsten's singing on this. I'm pretty sure he's a singer. And I looked, and I was right even before even looking at your name. I knew it was your voice because you got a distinct voice.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I co-wrote their second album together with a guitar player.
Yeah, that's is it CJ or what's his name? CJ, RJ.
Yeah, from the Canadian guy.
Yeah. Why didn't you join the band? Because the singer on the album, he left, didn't he? And they got somebody else now. Did you not ask to audition for them?
It wouldn't have made any sense, to be honest, because they're from Canada and they want to play live, and they needed someone to play live.
Okay.
In the end, they chose a guy from Mexico, which didn't work out.
No, I've seen a video of him, and it doesn't sound right for the voice. And I was just like, you should have been singing, not this guy.
As a matter of fact, I co-wrote the third album already, like half of the record, like I don't know, like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I have no idea if this is ever going to come out. But when I do this writing session stuff every once in a while also, which is when bands ask me not to fully join a band, or I even had like people coming up and saying, would you want to join a band? I said no, it wouldn't make any sense, because you're looking for a singer to be the main guy in the band, the main singer, the sole singer for your particular project or band, whereas me, I'm recording and releasing like half a dozen other albums each year. Definitely wouldn't make any sense. But what I can do, if you want to, we could probably write songs together, and I would do like some guide vocals for your whoever singer, and record the backing vocals for you so you can use them later, which would make things probably a bit easier. And I've done this a couple of times in the past. So and Heaven's Fire was one of those.
So the Heaven's Fire album, for those people that don't know, what was the album called, and what good memories do you have for that album?
Jesus Christ, wait a second. Oh, damn it. It's Playing with Fire.
That's the one, yeah. Because the first album, I think, was called Judgment Day or something, I believe.
Yeah, and the first one was out on Frontiers, and this one, JT, the guitar player, just released by himself, as far as I know. I have no idea. It's a good album. It's a great drummer, by the way. They have a wonderful, amazing drummer.
Oh yeah, I mean that album, the music for me reminded me of Dokken meets a band called Seven Sign. Do you know the band Seven Sign? It's a shame that Greg died. He was such an amazing singer.
Perpetual Destiny.
Yeah, fucking awesome album.
But both records.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I mean, he joined a band called Sevilla with Mark Zonder out of Fate's Warning. I mean, he looks like Ray Alder, and he sounded like
It's a shame that he died like 2 years ago. Yeah. By the way,
some live footage of him on YouTube, and he can sing live. He really can.
What always made Seven Sign back in the days was like, imagine George Lynch would join Queensryche.
Or Jeff Tate or Ray Alder on vocals.
I was blown away by those two records. And there's a funny thing. That basically was one of the albums which influenced us back then to form Lazarus Dream. Because the roots of that band hail back 20 years ago. And for the first album, we even recorded demos, which Marcus and me recorded literally 20 years back in 1999. And one of those, there was a couple bands back then which were really style-wise where we wanted to go to. It was basically like the like in the late 90s, there was a bit of a progressive movement going on. There was a couple really great prog bands, prog metal acts.
Yeah.
And one of those bands happened to be a Seventh Sign. And I love those two albums. They're absolutely fantastic. It's a shame not many people know them.
No, I wonder if they made any more songs with Greg's vocals before he passed. I wonder if they could release them, because I'd love to hear them like yourself. They'd be great to listen to. There must be something they did.
Yeah, probably. Or even if it was some live material.
Yeah.
He joined Tribe of Gypsies.
Yeah, that was the Latin American band, Latino sort of rock.
I think it was not my kind of thing.
No, Roy Z on guitar, I believe.
Yeah. I didn't like them that much, but I loved his vocals. He was absolutely fantastic.
Did you hear the album after that, Savior, with Mark Zonda? It was released on Inside Out Records.
No,
I'll have to send you the link. They did one album. It's a bit like Seven Sign, but a little bit more progressive.
Okay, which is not a bad thing, of course.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. So after that, I mean, that's Evans Fire On was a fantastic album. After that, what did you do after that? Did you join Devoid?
Wait a second. I need to check myself. I always, both records came out in 2017.
Right.
There's the first Devoid album and the Heaven's Fire album. So I must have recorded them at least 1 year before.
Right, because they're a French band, aren't they, Devoid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
good. Kind of a little bit like Diageo, similar, kind of.
Yeah. I have this thing for prog. I'm a huge, more like a prog rock type of guy. I'm not that much prog metal. But for the first album, and especially now for the new one, really kicked me was the mix of styles and within this band. You have like really heavy hitting guitar riffs, really and extremely melodic chorus parts. And that was really something from the very beginning, from the first songs that my set made. I was completely blown away. And also on the new record, where in my opinion we found a style. We found our own niche, if you will. Some people might not like it because I read some reviews that a couple of people don't really get the mix between those very different styles.
Yeah.
But to me, that is what makes the band unique.
Right. I mean, for me, I'm a big Fates Warning fan, but I'm also a big fan of Psychotic Waltz. I love Psychotic Waltz.
Oh no, never.
They're one of my favourite bands of all time in prog metal.
Really?
So unique, absolutely fantastic.
Being unique is not a bad thing in general, but I just once saw them live. I saw them once. I saw Psychotic Waltz once live together with Dead Soul Tribe, I guess.
Oh, that's Devin's old band, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, we've been touring together. I have no idea. And it was not for me. That was not for me.
You're a blasphemer.
I don't like Ghost. I don't like Ghost either, and millions of people do like them, but I don't like him either.
I'm a King Diamond fan. I'd rather listen to King Diamond than Ghost.
Oh, okay. This is something I never got. I understand the heritage. I understand the concept, and but I never really got into singing. That was this falsetto type of thing never really kicked.
Yeah, my favorite singer is Rob Halford of all time.
There's a different. Yeah, but it's technically a different style of singing. Halford is like, and I mean, he's the metal god for a reason. There's no one that he's the archetype. Of how a metal singer, probably together with Dickinson, of how a metal singer should sing like and should sound like. Funny story. I first saw Priest in '88 on the Ram It Down tour.
Me too.
Uh,
But with Bonfire supported them in
the
England.
Bonfire supported in Germany as well. They played the whole tour.
Do you know the original
And
band was? It was supposed to be in Cinderella. Thank God they never played because they sucked.
I love them. I love them, but it wouldn't have fit.
No, it wouldn't have done. Definitely not.
Wouldn't have fit. You know, to me, basically, I think the Ram It Down album is one of the most underrated Priest albums ever.
I think the best song on the album is Blood Red Skies. I love that song.
Great one is awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome. I always tend to say that they should have released a deluxe edition of that album, and probably added those 3 Stock Aitken Waterman recordings.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And the wonderful, wonderful live recording of the New Haven show in '88, which now finally came out on this box set 50-something thing.
Yeah.
But only on the very, very fucking limited, I don't know, you have to pay $100 bucks
it's expensive.
edition.
I haven't got it.
And there finally is that, which is that it's out as a bootleg in like a million different versions, and it's an absolutely fantastic live recording with a real drum. It wasn't Scott Travis back then, so but it's a great sounding live recording. Anyways, I still to this day I think the Ram It Down album is one of the most underrated Priest albums.
Yeah.
And anyways, I saw them on that tour with Bonfire. I was a huge Bonfire fan back then.
I think Fireworks was a brilliant album.
Absolutely. And you know, my very first ever tour was supporting Bonfire with Domain, which was kind of like a dream come true. Speaking of dream, you know, when I really think about it, the first band that got me into metal was Saxon.
Yeah, Saxon. My very first praise for me.
My very first T-shirt was Saxon Crusader. Yeah. So touring with Saxon was like, I'm not worthy. And speaking of I'm not worthy, I did this in front of Alice Cooper when we toured with Alice Cooper. I just went to my knees and went like, I'm not worthy. Like in the movie.
It's funny you should mention that because I did that with Andy LaRock from King Diamond when I met him. Not worthy. So I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, but Cooper was cool. He said it was like, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning, and he said, "Oh, you're just the fourth one today." I was like, "What?" And Priest, as I said, I saw them in '88, and it was, you know, I never was like tour guy. I was always one the smaller ones. You know, so I couldn't barely see anything. And I only had tickets downstairs and not up on the balconies. Anyways, the lights went off and I just, small guy as I was, little kid, just went upstairs and sneaked somewhere on the balcony. It was dark, I couldn't see where I was. Lights turned on, it was like a beam of a flashlight, and there he was, like literally 3 meters away from me. Standing up on the risers, standing up on the PA system, Mr. Halford, Electric Eye, and I was awestruck. I was just completely blown away. There he is. It was awesome, absolutely fantastic.
I know that. All right, so let's move on then, Carsten. Just before we talk about your new band, why are you called the Lizard? Lizard. Why Lizard?
Back in early 90s, early to mid 90s, when I was still in university, I was working for several online magazines. First ones, it was back then, like when the internet slowly became something bigger, you know. And also, and I became friends with a couple of people from the States and from Canada, and in particular, one of the guys I used to regularly chat with was a dude from Fargo, North Dakota. And we always tend to talk about tattoos and stuff, both like in our early 20s or something, and tattoos and rock bands and stuff. We always chatted about that. And I always attempted to tell him that I one day would want to have like a tattoo of the Saigon Kick album cover,
Oh
the
yeah, the
lizard.
one with the green cover, yeah, the green cover one, yeah.
Um, and I always thought that sort of tribal thing was absolutely perfect for a tattoo. And we kept talking about it. And one day he just tend to only call me, "Hey Lizard, how are you?" And this is how it came about. Funny enough, my latest bass player in Domain, and to this very day, one of my best friends, best mates, Jochen Meyer, used to be in a German band called Casanova, for example.
Oh, I remember those guys.
Yeah, and he happens to have that particular tribal cover as a tattoo on his arm.
Because their first album was called One Night Stand with Michael Voss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second one.
Second one, right? Okay. Yeah, I remember
And he
those
was
guys.
on that one. Yeah,
It's
and
weird
he
that
happens to have that particular tribal as a tattoo, which we all.
It's kind of weird because you're called Lizard and I'm called Burgers, so maybe we should call ourselves the Lizard Burger.
Probably.
And the name Burgers comes from the band Anvil, because I'm friends with Anvil, and I was having a meal with them in England one day, and because of the English accent and the Canadian, they decided to take the piss out of my accent, because I said, "Would you like to have a burger?" And they're like, "Burger, burger." So they just started calling me Burgers, and that's my nickname now. I'm called Burgers, just like you are Lizard. I'm the Burger.
Yeah, that's how it all came. I mean, it's just kind of sort of funny, and it just sort of went from there. He was the first guy, and then somebody read an email where he was referring to me as Lizard, and well, that's it for the last, I don't know, 20 years now.
It's kind of weird because when I went on tour with Raven doing merch, all the Saxon crew were calling me Burgers. Like, burgers,
Cool.
Burgers. How is it going, Burgers?
Not bad, right?
So,
At least,
Kirsten.
as long as you remember you, hey.
Well, I've had my name on a couple of records saying Brother Burgers, or, it's like,
Not bad.
as it goes. So, moving on then, Kirsten, let's talk about Devoid. Cup of Tea is the first album. Was that released on Frontiers as well as the new one? For those people that don't know.
No. The first one was on Melodic Rock Records, Andrew McNeese's label. Unfortunately, there was no one really interested in signing the album, but Andrew was spot on. He just loved it from the first, I don't know, 1 or 2 MP3s I was sending over to him. And yeah, it's a great album. It's a great sounding record. And it was very well received, especially in France. Even for such a small label. I don't know if we sold anything. I have no idea. Don't think so, basically. But it gave us enough exposure to get Frontiers interested in the follow-up.
So when did you actually join the band? Are you actually a member of the band? Or are you still a guest session vocalist?
No. We consider ourselves as a band, sort of.
Right, okay.
As much as we can be, living like a couple thousand kilometers apart from each other.
So when did you form with the band then? What year did you form? For those people that don't know.
The first album was released in 2017.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we started writing and recording like in 2016, I guess, as far as I remember. At first it was Miles, the guitar player, or Shed, as he names himself. At first it was meant as his solo project, but it quickly sort of evolved, and yeah, it turned to be way more, and then he managed to get some brilliant musicians to join in, and a whole bunch of absolutely fantastic guest guitar players. So it is, as I said, it is a band as much as it can be.
So what band was he in before forming Devoid? Because I don't even know this guitarist. Who was he with?
He's in a French band called Chadian.
No, I don't know them.
They did a couple of cool festivals in France. A cool, similar vein, bit more proggy, less heavy. And he was, and as far as I know, he was the rhythm guitar player, and so he wanted to do a bit more of his own style, without any without any regularities of what he can introduce into, or what he can add to the music or to the style. Just wanted to write and see what's coming out. And this is basically how the first album came out.
Was you the first choice as a singer then he approached? Was you the first guy he came to?
Yeah. The initial idea, he approached me and said he would, he's looking for a couple singers, and I was to sing like 2 songs on the album, which is something I did in the past a couple times.
Yeah.
And those ensemble sort of albums I really dig. I like that, especially when the focus. Yeah, I even as a listener, I love that. Especially for me, I always thought that it is kind of refreshing for a vocalist if the main focus is not on you, but is on, like, for example, the guitar player, because it's his project, or the keyboard player. But that was the initial idea back then.
Right.
So I did the first 2 songs, and he liked not only my singing, but also the way I structured the vocal parts. As I said, for the first album, he wrote the lyrics. I just added some bits and pieces here and there, and changed up some of the French English. But I basically got the lyrics and had to find my melodies for them. Right. And he was very much into the way I structured and I arranged the vocals. That he said, "Would you want to at least write or do some guide vocals for the other singers to come in?" Which was no problem. I could. And that quickly evolved into, "Would you want to sing the whole album?" Which I eventually did.
So who were the other singers then before you were going to do the full album? You have no idea.
I have no idea.
Just picked you and that was it. So why the album title, Cup of Tears? Why did they who came up with the title?
That was his idea. I have no idea. I don't know. It's one of the tunes which is on the album.
Yeah.
And I thought, and as far as I remember, I guess you found it sounded sort of cool. It was a bit the album has a bit of a I would say depressive flavor to it, but it's a serious album in a way. No, it's not a light-hearted one. So I guess the title sort of was fitting the tone of the record,
right,
so to speak.
Yeah. So why the name Devoid? Why did he decide?
I have no idea. You have to ask the guitar player.
Okay, so let's talk about the new album then. Lonely Eye Movement. Who came up with that title? Did you get involved with that title? Right, okay. So this is
that was me.
It's your introduction to your baby, your first proper real album then, with the band.
Yeah, I did. This time I had the chance to write all the lyrics and do basically my parts by myself. And I always tend to come up with song titles which are not used like 100 times over. Every AOR band, for example, has to have like at least one song that's called "Hold On" or "Surrender" or "Can't Stop Loving You," or at least one track with the name of a lady. Pamela, Angela, whatever.
Yeah. And
I tend to try to avoid those stereotypes in a way.
Right. Okay.
So when I write lyrics, I have like a small file, a simple Microsoft Word doc in which I write possible song titles in. I carry this with me for like 20 years now. And every time when I have to write lyrics for a new song, I just go to this extensive list of possible titles and just happen to choose which of those would fit the style and the tone of the song, and the mood of the track. And yeah, I found the idea of a lonely eye movement, not a rapid eye movement, but a lonely eye movement. It sounded cool to me, and it was very clear very early on that this would be like the title track, the opening track for the record. And in the end, we then decided to have that's this first single, opening track, title track. We even recorded an acoustic and bonus track for Japan, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, not many people will ever listen to it, will never get the chance to hear it, but it is basically piano only with some guitars there and me singing. Wonderful, wonderful, moody version of the song, completely different. Yeah, as I said, it's a bonus track for one of the 3 bonus tracks for Japan.
Oh, you got 3. What's the other 2 bonus tracks?
The other 2 are 2 songs from the album with different guitar players.
Okay.
One for example happened to be Mirror Maze, but played with my dear friend, the guitar solo played by my dear friend Mr. Thorsten Kuhne from Eden's Curse.
Okay, yeah. I know Thorsten, yeah.
Yeah. But again, just Japan only. I don't even have a Japanese version.
You should.
I hope to get it one day.
So
I will one day I will order one from Japan for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm afraid.
You should get one for free. You're the singer.
Nope. I even had to order the CDs myself.
Go out. So who's the guitarist on the other song then?
Jesus. Oh, wait a second. I can tell you. The other one was Henrik Danhage from Evergrey.
Okay. Wow,
yeah.
A good guitarist.
Absolutely. And he's just a bonus track. He played a guest solo on the first album as well. And now he did another one for the new album, which so unfortunately is only a bonus track.
So the album title, Lonely Eye Movement, was that the only title you had?
Oops, I don't know. Did we consider something? At first, we initially thought about not naming the album after a song, or probably going into something like, I don't know, Act 2 or something, but no, we were just right off the bat, very quickly. Once we had the song ready, we thought, okay, this is going to be the title track for the record.
Right then. So
and the first single as well.
So how long did it take to record this album?
Jesus, I don't know. I have no idea. This time we were, COVID broke. And I was forced to stay at home, and I couldn't get into my studio, which is like 30 kilometers away in a huge sort of music complex with, I don't know, like over 100 rehearsal rooms and studios.
Oh, so it's not at home. You don't have a studio at home then?
No. I have with my dear friend and best mate. We have a recording studio, professional recording studio, in which I do record my own stuff, and we record for other people's stuff. And then the pandemic and COVID broke, and we were forced. We simply couldn't get into the facility for, I don't know, like almost 2 months. So all in all, 1.5 years actually.
Wow. So basically it would have taken about 5 months, 4 months if it hadn't been for COVID.
Yeah, it would have been way quicker. Would have been way quicker. But the point in case being, it wasn't like, okay, here's like we recorded, or I get like 15 tracks from the French guys and say, okay, this is the album, please do your parts. It's more like, okay, every time Mael had written a new song, he was sending it over, and I started working on it once he had like a more or less finished version of it. And every once in a while, once I did my parts, he sort of like completely changed over some parts and had to redo some of that, and that takes a while. It would have been way quicker, but we didn't have a record deal. We didn't have a label, so there was no pressure.
Yeah.
There at all. We didn't have no deadline or stuff. It was just like, okay, let's do a second album and yeah, go on from there.
So how did the deal with Frontiers come about? And are you happy with Frontiers?
As far as I'm not very much involved in all the business stuff. That is all Miles' part. As far as I know, they contacted him a couple years back, but then sort of forgot about it, and he just happened to send them songs for the second album when they were looking for bands for their new sub label, Frontiers something.
Yeah, Frontiers, yeah.
Then they just came up with a new sub label for younger bands. I have no idea, can't remember what it's actually called. In the end, all the records come out under the Frontiers banner.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and then it happened.
Are you basically started Frontiers then? Are you on a subsidiary label of Frontiers? Is that
No, it's Frontiers, but they try to get in like younger bands, and sort of wanted to build them up. As far as I know, I don't recall actually, but in the end, we just got signed to Frontiers properly.
That's good.
For 4 albums, as far as
That's
I know.
good. Oh, good luck with that. So, what songs from the new album are your favourites, and why? Which ones stand out for you?
That's a difficult one. I personally tend to like the heavier songs more than the softer, more and more melodic songs. That's Imposter probably being one of my favorites. In the Absence of Holiness.
Why those two?
Because they're heavy.
Right.
I like the heaviness of those two. And they force me to do different stuff. Especially Imposter is vocal wise something really different for me. I love In the Absence of Holiness, guitar solo by the great Christian Munsner, German guitar player.
Who's he played with? Which guitarist? Which band?
Mr. Munsner is a solo guy. He's released a couple amazing solo records. Really type of more like classic Shrapnel Varney type of shredder guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's playing a German band by the name of Eternity's End, which is his solo album.
I know what you mean. Yeah, Eternity's End, because I think my friend Ian Parry sang on one of the albums.
Yeah, he did, like on the first one. And also I need to look this up. Wait a second. There you go.
I think he's got a death metal band, doesn't he? He plays guitar in a death metal band. Yeah.
Obscura.
That's them. Yeah, that's the one.
And they're technically unbelievable.
Is he a Belgium guitarist? I think.
No, German guy.
Sorry,
German guy. And I asked him to do a solo because I love his style. Also, speaking of one of my favorites on the record, Man Without Fear, because it's a very personal one, lyric-wise.
Is it something you can talk about, or is it something you want to keep quiet?
I can't. No, I can't. I can't actually.
Okay.
Because I'm a huge comic book fan.
Okay.
I'm a comic book nerd. And Man Without Fear is Daredevil. I don't know if you're familiar with Marvel Comics.
Film. Yeah, I know the film Daredevil. Okay.
There you go.
Where's the lizard? Okay.
There's a small one over there. Different one, but he's there. He will be covered up someday with a bigger one. So I always wanted to write about that particular character because I'm a huge fan of it, and I love the idea of his personal motivations and struggles that he has to deal with. As I said, it's a bit of a personal one, and I always wanted to write a song which is titled "Man Without Fear" because Daredevil in the comics is called the Man Without Fear.
If I'm correct, Daredevil is blind in the film. Is that correct?
He is.
Yeah,
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the film is doesn't do the character justice at all. If you want to dig deeper into that, and then just don't want to go into the comic stuff, watch the Netflix series, which is absolutely amazing. And this is the very essence of the comic books as well. Yeah, that probably, it's hard for me to pick out and pin out some particular tracks because I think the record is a strong unity from start to finish. It all sort of fits together. There's no track which is so there's no particular standout one in terms of quality, and there's not one which wouldn't fit musically. You could argue probably like the final one, Wouldn't Wind, which is like a 2-minute acoustic thing with a saxophone on it. But that basically was a lullaby for Miles' kids. He wrote for the kids, and he said, "I'm not sure, but I really would want to put it on the album." So, sure do. It is great, and it's a wonderful, completely different way of finishing an album. Something people wouldn't expect. Some might not like it. Some reviews I read just particularly point out that song as something special. 2-minute acoustic one with the saxophone. Something you wouldn't expect from a progressive power metal, melodic metal, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you describe your music?
Metal? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And I mean, I did read many reviews, and most of those that like the record think or would describe it or would categorize it as a progressive, a melodic progressive metal album.
What did you think of my review? Did you get a chance to look at my review?
I liked it.
Yeah. Are you sure?
I am. And and that sort of fits, because there's obviously progressive elements and progressive metal elements. You can for sure hear some Evergrey influences here and there. There's some Devon Townsend here and there, but on the other hand, you have like those ultra uber melodic chorus parts, which you, in my opinion, you definitely wouldn't expect for such a music. You get this heavy riffing, sometimes really heavy as shit, and then all of a sudden there's a chorus part which could have been on the Winger album, for example.
Right.
And that particular mix is in my opinion very unique. Yeah, metal.
Right.
That's it.
So, have you got any new songs wrote for the next album, Kirsten? Is anything new wrote in the works?
We will be. The plan as of now is to start recording the third one in May next year. I already have a couple demos that I was listening to. Mile is already full on in his working mood. The guy's ideas after, it's really literally there's an idea after idea, and every time you think, okay, probably the next one you listen to is something you probably have heard already, and then he comes up with something absolutely different, and still it has an overall theme to it. It still all sort of fits together. As I said, probably the plan is to start in May, recording the next one.
I know a lot of people have been doing a lot of albums since lockdown, like Like Anvil,
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to Lips from Anvil the other day, and he said he's done like 3 albums worth of new albums in lockdown.
Most people do. Most unfortunately released some cover records. Unfortunately, most of them are bad. I'm in the middle of recording the second Lazarus Dream album, by the way. I've
Okay,
already done 9. Last night I went recorded song number 9. Yeah,
okay.
number 9 for the
And
album.
which band is this?
Lazarus Dream.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think I've heard that
and
one.
you did not.
No, I don't
I
think so.
released that last year, mate.
I'm gonna have to have a
I
listen
was.
to that.
Yeah, you have to.
Definitely. I mean,
Yes.
there's probably lots of stuff you've done solo albums on guest appearances I've not even
Yeah.
heard because you've done that many. You're in a popular demand, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been asked why you're doing so much because people ask me to. I mean, the more I do, the more I do. That's it. And and it's a privilege. And I have fun doing it. Once I don't like stop enjoy doing it, I will definitely stop recording. But as I said, I always found it really refreshing if you have the chance and the fortune to work with different people. And you get different flavors, you get different ideas, you get to know different people with different backgrounds, music wise, and that is always, it keeps you fresh, and then so yeah. I mean, if you don't like it, no problem. I mean, some people might say that you're doing too much, and then you're not forced to buy any of these records.
Exactly, exactly.
So
So what's
that's
the
it.
what?
But yeah.
So
Sorry.
what's the future plans for you then? Your new Devoid album, of course, and what's
As I said, I'm in the midst of recording the new Lazarus Dream record. I will go straight into the third Devoid in May.
right?
Um, I did something by myself. I started something by myself, like almost 2 years now. 2 years ago now. Unfortunately, as I said, when the pandemic broke, I had to stop and couldn't go on doing it. I started, every once in a while you want to do something for yourself, and you have like something you always wanted to try out and make and record, like I did with my.
Instead of recording for everybody else, you're just going to concentrate on what you want to
Exactly.
do.
Yes, exactly, and without any restrictions, and without having to think about if this is of interest for anyone. Like I did with my Syndicate album. I wanted to do a typical like classic rock, Deep Purple type of album.
Yeah.
And the next thing, and I already started recording it and writing demos for it, but unfortunately, as I said, when the pandemic hit, we had to stop, and now I'm in the midst of recording for other people again. I will be doing a full-on prog rock album. Speaking of art rock, classic British influenced art rock.
Okay.
Speaking Floyd, speaking Yes. I'm a huge Yes fan, by the way.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the album 90125 and Union are my two favorite albums.
yeah, but of course I do. It's like the starting point for many people. But I'm a huge, a classic one. For me, not everything. Not every song I can listen to. Most songs are like too brainy. Can I say that? Too
Yeah,
brainy.
too
Uh,
involved, too involved.
but I'm a huge prog guy. I love all sorts of prog rock. I'm a huge Neil Morse fan. I love almost everything the guy releases. Um, I am I love my Floyd. I love Kansas. I love Styx. I love classic Genesis and stuff.
I think the last couple of Kansas albums are really good.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I always wanted to do an album in that particular vein. And I always wanted to make a record, which is heavily influenced by classic Pink Floyd, by some Kansas influences here and there, some bits and pieces of classic Marillion, for example. And because, as I said, basically, I'm very much into what was once called in the UK art rock. And I started doing that. I don't know if this is ever going to come out and when. And if so, when? It's going to take ages, I'm afraid.
Yeah. All right then. Well, like I say, I'd like to thank you, Carsten, for doing this interview.
My pleasure,
Finally.
my
Do you have anything to say?
It was about time. It was about time.
I know. We've known each other for about 5 years, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember interviewing you when you did Evidence One for the website. I've still got the interview on my website.
Yeah, this must be like 10 years back. Huh?
Probably, yeah. So, do you have anything to say to the readers that'll be watching this, the listeners?
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay healthy. I guess in these troubled and weird times, staying healthy is the one thing that everybody can agree on. No matter what your opinions on vaccination is or whatnot, but try to avoid risking your lives for whatever shit.
Yeah. Okay then, Carsten. Thank you for that.
Thank you, my friend.
And I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.